Hey guys, what's up? It's LKFX here. And today I'm going to do a tutorial on how to do this, this kind of edit. I've gotten a lot of requests, and later I'm really hoping I can get a screen recorder on my phone so I can do a Leonardo tutorial on this, because I've gotten a lot of requests. This is actually a Strong Skins. I got this idea from Strong Skins. So I'm not taking any credits. This is definitely his idea and his style, but I've used it a lot more than he has, and so I've gotten a lot more requests. And his tutorial, like the end report, kind of like came out kind of weird. And so I also got this brush from Strong Skins, which is really awesome. But anyway, so let's get right into it. When I started this one, I actually did this for I'm doing this for a collab contest. So the skin is not mine either. I think the credits go to like GM edits or graphics or something like that. So to start, I will always select this. If you're using apps, I use Superimpose for this. So you mask your player out with Superimpose, which is really easy on the computer, but not so easy on the on apps, as I have discovered. Anyway, so then I'm going to actually just do it. So what you do is you invert the mask, and you do Command J to create a new layer, which would be that. So then with layer 1, with your original layer, you're going to go to Adjustments, Black and White, and do Auto. And then you're going to create a new layer, which you would then do, go to Gradient, and I like to select the radial gradient, I don't know the exact term, but so then you're going to go down and put this on Multiply. The gradient itself actually doesn't matter. I think it's just better because it helps make the player stand out a bit more when you're putting in the brushes, but at the end, this really isn't going to matter. It's just easier. It makes the edit easier in the process. So when using Leonardo, you can do that, but by the time you're coming to the end, you're going to get a notification that says you've used too many layers, because this is a very like big project. So you know, I would delete this one if you're gonna put in a watermark. And so anyway, the brush I used is in my Google Drive, which will be in my bio, which is I'll pull it up. And so it'll be in my bio, and it is this brush right here, which I saved as a PNG but did not actually save as a PNG. So you're using the magic wand tool and Superimpose or something to get rid of that background is going to be needed for some reason. I don't completely understand why, but that usually happens to me. And so after I did that, so if you're on Photoshop, you just take the brush, this one. Now I'll also put the brush PSD in my bio, on the same drive. So here you go. Make the brush somewhat small, not too small, but once you get to the arm, you're going to make it a bit smaller. And then you're going to start out with a white layer. Go around, not too much, because that takes away from it, from the player. A good cutout on this doesn't really matter that much, so if your masking job wasn't great, that's okay, because it goes around the player and you're not really going to be able to tell in the end. But if you're doing this on apps with Leonardo, you're going to have to create multiple layers, and that's what the pain in the butt with this is just how many layers it takes. So you're going to try to take up less space than you can, but you just I duplicate the layers and turn the opacity down after. I actually kind of stupidly I made the brush black. Just go on to the effects and like change the exposure to make that different. And then what you do is you create another layer and you choose the. I like to do a primary color, which for this guy, since he's on the Titans, would be this kind of tealish turquoise. I'm not entirely sure of that exact term. So you do that and make sure the brush is a bit smaller, not too small, but you fill in other spots. So yeah, it looks pretty good. So then what you're gonna do is you're gonna put both of these on. Oh wait, you're gonna put this on overlay and then duplicate it, which you can do by Command J. And then what you do is you fill in. This is what I don't like about Strong Skins tutorial, is that he makes you fill in everything. I like to fill in just kind of like around where you put the blotches, because if you do, then he's gonna be completely blue and it's not gonna look great. So I'm gonna do that on the second layer. On the second layer, I like to fill in the stomach a bit more, do a bit more of a broader. Okay, and then what you do is you put your PNG or masked player. And by the way, if you're using Leonardo, you're gonna want to put the mask player on before, which is kind of weird because usually you don't do that. Make sure all your other layers are under him. Then you're gonna put him on luminosity, and so that's what it's gonna come out like. And if there's too much blue, like I don't like how much blue there is, you go back to your brush. Where is it? And you erase some of the stuff that you used on the layer, and then I'm actually gonna erase some on the arm. But otherwise, that looks actually pretty good to me. I like it. Alright, then what you do is go to posterize, and if it's too dark, I like to keep it up around 8 so you can tell differences. There's also a posterize option on, sorry, not superimpose, it's on Leonardo, which you can choose, which is really awesome. But the thing about the Leonardo one, the mistake that I made with it is I put too much posterize, which when you look at it closely, see this is in all apps, you can see that there's a bit too much posterize in this one, and so when you're doing that, so I don't like too much. I like to keep it around 10 to 12. I'm gonna use 12 for this one. And then what you do, this is what I mean about this layer not doing much, because now what you're gonna do is you're just gonna add a fill layer. I've actually never tried it with a gradient. I wonder what that would look like. I did that, and then I forgot what you have to do is you have to make sure that's clipped onto that. And then you use the fill layer. So let's try a gradient. I've never tried a gradient before. No, this is the first time for everything. That actually looks pretty cool. Or just a bit dark. I want to make the blue just a bit darker. Dark blue. Dark blue. That looks cool, but actually I don't really like that. So I'm gonna delete that. And add a black fill layer. And the other one I actually tried, a white one, grayish one, which looks pretty cool. But black is kind of like how you give the solitary look. And then what you do is you see, this is why I said this doesn't really come in handy, because at this point it like really doesn't do anything. So if you're running out of layers on Leonardo, you can delete these last two. And then what I do is I will add my watermark, which I made on Photoshop as a brush. You can type it up on Fonto or whatever app you use. If you want to, you can DM me. I can make you a watermark. Oh wait, I forgot you have to do a new layer. I usually use white, but that looks pretty cool. So as you can see, those look a bit different. Oh wait, yeah, I forgot. You really can't do this on Leonardo, so I'm sorry if you're using apps, but I usually like to take a good grunge brush. That looks cool. And I have a huge grunge brush pack. Size really small. You're gonna paint over white. I like to do around the visor a bit, maybe a bit around the arms. And then you're gonna make sure that layer's on overlay. You can change the opacity to your liking. So anyway, as you can see, I really like the style. It's pretty cool. Leave a like on this post, which should be up tomorrow. I've already posted twice today, and that's actually kind of weird for me because I really don't usually post twice in a day. So, you know, yeah, just leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks.